Marvin? Is it a case of and breathe after that?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, it was one of those games, wasn't it? It felt like it was going to be one of those afternoons, but the boys managed to dig out the win in the end. Obviously Lee getting the goal. So listen, it's about the 3 points today. I always kind of bang on about performances and probably showing a different side of us today. That kind of never say die attitude, and that's allowed us to win that game. I don't think that the players would have had that mentality earlier on in the season. So for me, that's a positive.
You've talked earlier on as well in the lead up to this game about the physicality of Peterhead, and that showed today, isn't it? So it was something that they had to deal with. Yeah,
exactly. Peterhead was going to come and do that. I think they'd have watched the Clyde game and saw how they were against us, and that'll kind of be the way for some teams now. If they don't think they can maybe match you when the ball's on the floor, then they'll go long and they'll be physical. And to be fair to them, they did it within the rules, so no problem with that at all. But from our point of view, like you said, we stood up to it. We came through it, came out the other side, and we won the game of football. So the young players within there will be better for that experience, and us as a management team will be better for it as well, because as I said, we managed to win the game.
Keeps that unbeaten run going. It stretches it now to 5. So we're hitting form at the right time.
Yeah, listen, I think any time hitting form is the right time, isn't it? I would never say to you, it's not the right time to hit form, but as you said, it stretches it to 5. That's 3 wins in a row for the first time this season. So that's kind of another milestone ticked off. But that's it done now. As I always say, we'll learn from today's game. But no, I'm ever so proud of the players. As I said, I thought last week against Edinburgh, the performance was fantastic. Some of the football played was fantastic, and today, for whatever reason, that didn't happen. But they've won a game of football and they're showing a different side. So I'm equally as proud as the players.
You talked as well last week about it being a squad game and how the subs play their part as well, and that showed today with that final goal with Gibbo and Lee combining. Yeah, exactly, and I think the boys are starting to believe what I say now. Obviously Lee would have been disappointed to come out of the team after last week, but Connor earned his start, and then kind of the roles were reversed today, weren't they? Connor comes off and Lee goes on. So him and young Gibbo go on and make us better, give us more energy, and then both play a massive part in that second goal. Absolutely brilliant. As I said, it's always a squad game. Between now and the end of the season, I'll be giving opportunity to more players as well. But those players have to earn that. Young Lewis, stepped up from the reserves, and he was 21st man today. But he's been training well, and there is a pathway for young players at this football club. You talked as well about belief. Do you believe that they are starting to believe in themselves now? Yeah, they are. And as I said, the more games you remain unbeaten, the stronger that will grow, the bigger that will get. But we'll keep our feet firmly on the ground. We've achieved nothing. Yes, 5 games unbeaten is brilliant, but it's not as good as 6 games unbeaten. And now that will be the kind of aim for us over this next week before playing Alloa next week. Alloa next week. Today's results, does that make it even? Every game's important, but does that results today make it even more important? I genuinely haven't looked at any other results. All I concentrate on is what we're doing, and I always say the same thing, and it probably gets boring for people. If we win a game of football, we'll close the gap on the teams above us. If we lose a game of football, we allow them to get further away from us, and teams below us to close the gap on us. So it doesn't matter to me what happens elsewhere. We need to take care of our own business, and we've done that today, and that's the most important thing.